What's going on, guys? DizZieJay, aka Joss here, and yeah, it's currently 5:30 in the morning, and yeah, I just got back from the club. I found out there's a club here in Russellville. Well, I live in Pottsville. Russellville is like the town over, so it's like 15 minutes away. So yeah, I found out there's a club here about a couple weeks back, and yeah, it's something to do. A fun place to go dance and just chill and drink and stuff like that. And so, yeah, I just got back. It's 5:30. I know I just said that, but yeah, I figured be a good time for a little story time from DizZieJay. And so, this is gonna be my first story time. So, yeah, let's get back in, or let's get right into it. This one is going to be titled 10-Minute Girlfriend. So, as you guys may or may not already know, I am not a ladies kind of man. I kind of suck when it comes to talking with women and going on dates and stuff like that. Like I married the third girlfriend I've ever had, and even the ones before that were kind of just little flings, and so never really been much of the lady killer. And so, anyways, so back I was probably about, let's say, like 13, 12 or 13, something like that. I had a friend, we'll just call him Pablo for a personal sake, and yeah, his name is gonna be Pablo. And so me and Pablo, one thing we used to do, we used to hang out like all the time. Back when I used to live in Auburn, we lived in this apartment complex thing, which I guess apartment complex kind of does it a little bit of a disservice, because it's not like your generic apartment complex where it's just a bunch of buildings and a bunch of rooms and or a bunch of doors and windows. It's like a little 4 apartment condos, like standing on its own, and then you have like a yard and then another 4 apartment condo, and it's like stacked. There's probably like 300 of them in this whole complex. Anyways, me and him both lived in this area, and I met him from school. And so me and Pablo used to go down to the park, usually spend like hours down there until it got dark, and then end up walking home. So one night, me and him are hanging out at the park, doing our thing, haha, having fun. And we were like, hey, let's go up to my house and let's go find something to do. And so my house is in like the very top of the hill, like the very back of the apartment complex, opposite from the park, which is like right next to us. So we're like walking up, and all of a sudden there was these like 2 girls we see walking in the distance, heading the opposite direction that we were. And so they started walking towards us, and I was like, oh, hey, that's the girl like I had a crush on for a really long time, but she like disappeared when I was in like elementary school. She was just like, I don't know, up and disappeared. I don't know what happened to her or where she went. There was like rumors that went around that she went to juvenile hall, but this is when we were like 6 or 7, and so rumors start and stuff like that. And so, yeah, I don't really know what exactly happened to her, but I know she disappeared. And then now, here she is, walking up towards me and my buddy Pablo. So we'll just call this girl Jacqueline. What's a word I'm looking for? Not personal, but like privacy. There you go, privacy reasons. So we'll call her, what did I say? Jacqueline? Jacqueline? I think is what I chose. So Jacqueline and Pablo. So here comes Jacqueline and this other girl named Claire. Claire and Jacqueline are walking towards us, and they're kind of like stumbling a little bit. And at the time, I didn't really know much about like alcohol or drugs or anything like that. Like I was kind of just a little innocent Joss running around. So anyways, here they come walking towards us, and we're like, oh hey, like there's these girls walking. I was like, oh my god, that's Jacqueline. Like I know her. And so, Jorge, damn it, I just said his name. All right, well, Jorge. Jorge decides to be like, hey, let's go talk to them. I'm like, okay. And so he stops them, and they're like talking, like, oh my god, and they're just talking. All of a sudden, he starts getting and talking with Claire, and they start chatting away. So that leaves me and Jacqueline to start talking. So like I said, I'm not smooth. I'm not smooth tongued whatsoever. And so I start talking. It's like, so how's your night going? She's like, oh my god, I'm having such a good night. Blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, Now, at this point in time, I was like, okay, obviously she's not in like the right state of mind. She's probably drunk, because like I didn't know much about it, like I said, but I do know that people act funny when they're under the influence, and so I'm like, okay, yeah, whatever. And then she's like, oh my god, and she like trips and like stumbles, and like so I catch her, and then she's like, oh my god, you saved me, ha ha ha, like you're my boyfriend now. And I was like, I'm your boyfriend now, like haha, like I've never had a girlfriend before this. And I'm like, okay, cool. And then she wraps her arm around me, and this at this point in time, I'm like carrying. I had a bike with me, but I wasn't riding it. I was like, pulling it alongside me. And then so I have her in one arm. She's like, her arms are, or she's like wrapped around one arm, and I have like the bike in the other. And we're like, hey, we're about to go to my place, and go hang out. You guys want to come? They're like, yeah, sure. And Jorge is like, oh yeah, wait, hold on. I need to go down to my sister's, which is on like they're like right next to the park, so the opposite end of the apartment, because I need to go to my sister's house real quick and go grab something. It's like, okay. So we start walking over there, and we're like talking and laughing. She's like leaning it up against me and everything. I'm sitting there like, I'm the fucking man right now. Like, yeah, this girl on my arm. I got a bike. I'm fucking cool as fuck. Yeah, I'm feeling all happy and fucking, cool. Feeling like a cool guy finally for like the first time in my life. And so we end up getting over to Jorge's sister's house, and he goes inside, and so me and the two girls are sitting outside, and there's like steps right in front of the door, and so I'm sitting down on the steps, and she sits down next to me, and she's like, oh, you're my boyfriend now, haha. And I'm like, yeah, I'm your boyfriend now, what up? Yeah, and like talking and stuff. And then let's rewind a little bit. For lunch, me and Jorge had some Mexican food, and yeah, let's say it wasn't really settling very well in my stomach throughout the whole day. And so, rewind a little bit again. When they first showed up, I had this like mean, bubbling stomach thing going on. Obviously, gas. I had gas when they started rolling up on us. I'm like, oh shit, like I gotta play it cool, like. And so at first, I kind of like went away. I just like, I didn't really notice it was there anymore. And then when I was sitting there on the steps next to her, everything was cool. Like everything was like so like serene and perfect. It was nighttime. It was quiet. It was just me and this girl, and we're just like sitting there enjoying ourselves. And then Jorge comes out of his apartment and says something. I can't remember what it was, but I found it fucking hilarious at this point in time. So fucking hilarious that I laughed so hard that the fart that I had forgotten about kind of just reappeared. So I let out this mean, just like nasty fart on accident, and like because he says it, and everyone starts busting up laughing, including him and the two girls. Obviously, that's everyone. But anyways, we all start laughing. Also, like everyone just like stops. Like everyone's just like, and then it gets like there's like a good like maybe 2 seconds of just like pause and freeze. Like, what the fuck was that noise? And then Jorge, fucking, oh my god, he points at me and laughs, and he's like, Josh just farted. He yells that I farted, and the girls were just like, oh my god, yo, that's nasty. And she like instantly gets up and starts like walking away, and she grabs her friend Claire by the arm and turns and just starts walking away. And I'm like, hey, where are you guys going? And then they left. And Jorge comes up next to me, puts his arm on my shoulder, and I just give him like the fucking like, seriously, like you had to point it out. Like maybe they didn't even hear it. Maybe they were like, oh, it's a fucking like tree frog or whatever the fuck made that noise. For whatever reason, he decided to be like, just farted. So, to conclude this story, she ends up going to my school. For her first day was actually the day after that, because it was a school night. And I see her at the bus stop, and in my head, I kind of like push this traumatic experience to the back of my head, and the only thing I'm really thinking about is like, hey, she called me her boyfriend. So I go walk up, and I'm like, hey, Jacqueline, like, do you remember me? Like, last night was fun, haha. And she just like gives me this look like a fucking like this, like, ew, like get the fuck away from me. And then she just walk away. And so I'm standing there at fucking 7:30 in the morning waiting for the fucking bus, like all by myself with my fucking headphones in. I'm just like fucking jamming away to music, trying not to fucking cry. So there's my story of my 10-minute girlfriend, and yeah, it was quite a traumatic experience. It's probably one of the one of the traumatic experiences that kind of rolled me into, not being very confident when it came to talking to girls, because who knows when a fart is gonna come ruin everything. So there's my story time. There's my story that I have. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'm probably gonna be doing more of these because, I have a bunch of I have a bunch of stories. I have a bunch of stuff that's happened in my life that's pretty fucking funny. Thinking back at it, and so yeah. All right. Well, this is DizZieJay again, aka Joss. Thank you for watching. See ya.